if I don't want to die, this is what we're going to have to do.
Mm-hmm.
So, giddy up.
Hello, this is On the Subject of Cancer, a podcast brought to you by New England Cancer Specialists. My name is Jessica Fidalgo, your host. While the subject is cancer, this is mostly a podcast about people. Every episode, we sit down with someone who has lived through or is a specialist in the treatment of cancer, and we ask them about their experiences, their knowledge, and anything they're willing to share. If you're listening as someone touched by cancer, whether that's personally or through someone you love, you're not alone, and we're glad you're here. Let's get into today's conversation with Lizz Ottusch. Liz, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for agreeing to be one of my early guests and guinea pigs. We really appreciate it. What can you tell us about you?
So my name is Liz, and I live in Portland, Maine, and I've lived here since June of 2019. I grew up in Wisconsin and went to college in Wisconsin and everything, and then got a job out here and moved here after that. I am a data analyst, and I absolutely love my job. January is a big month for me in terms of dates. Mm-hmm. It's kind of crazy how ingrained into your memory dates that have to do with cancer are. Mm-hmm. And it happens so fast. Like, we have the new year. On January 7th, I went in for the first time because I was having pain. And my mom, thank God, is a worrywart that said, yeah, you should go get that checked out, instead of, oh no, it's probably fine. Like, who knows where I would have been if I hadn't gone. So January 7th, went and did that. On the 9th, I turned 25. On the 12th, I had a mammogram and ultrasound guided. No, on the 19th, I had an ultrasound guided biopsy. And on the 21st, I had cancer. But in the midst of that, on the 16th, which is today, I adopted my beautiful, sweet baby angel, Macaroni, who is my cat/child. Today is actually his fourth gotcha day. I can't believe that it's been that long already.
Congratulations.
But yeah, he's the sweetest little boy cat, and I knit him things and put hats on him and stuff. He doesn't like it. And so that was 5 days before I was diagnosed with cancer. And I know that God decided that I just needed a little guy to go through this. He's like, that boyfriend you have is a piece of shit. And what you need is a cat.
Awesome. So yeah, 25. That's real young.
Sure.
It's half my age, for the record, listeners.
Yeah.
And did you have, I know you were diagnosed stage 3 breast cancer. Is that right?
Yeah.
And did you have family history at all?
Yep.
You did.
Yeah. So that was kind of interesting, and a really interesting part of my cancer journey is genetics. Mm-hmm. When I was a senior in college, my cousin, my dad's brothers, everyone listen along, my dad's brother's daughter, so my dad's niece.
So your first cousin.
My first cousin was diagnosed with breast cancer, and she was 28, and she had a double mastectomy. Then a couple months later, my dad was diagnosed with prostate cancer. Like, it was really not a good situation. And it was kind of the first time that I realized that, like, my parents aren't bulletproof. Yeah. This is the interesting thing about genetics and about the BRCA2 gene. At the time, and I'm a data analyst, and this is where it seeps in too. By the time that I got cancer and was tested, there was enough cases that said, okay, this is because of this genetic mutation, which really changes the way that you will be treated. Like, I'm going to eventually have to get my ovaries scooped out. I like to say that I'm pretty much going to become like a jack-o'-lantern, like, with all of my insides scooped out. People with a BRCA2 gene mutation tend to respond better to chemo. It's usually a more aggressive type of cancer. Like there's all these things that depend on knowing if it's a pathogenic mutation.
What's the funniest or most absurd thing that has happened to you as a result of this cancer journey?
I had a single mastectomy. And then right before I was about to go into chemo, I found out about this program called First Descents, and now I've gone on multiple different trips with First Descents, True North Treks, and the Send It Foundation, which take young adults with cancer or that have been diagnosed in the last whatever years on totally free, incredible outdoor experiences.
Wow.
So it's amazing. And I had never had any cancer friends before this. So this is really what introduced me to this amazing community of people that I refer to as my cancer kids or cancer friends. We call the camp Cancer Camp, it's all fun.
Yeah.
But I went whitewater kayaking in North Carolina, and I had just gone through my first chemo. This is actually when my hair kind of started to fall out. And we were picking up the kayaks. I was wearing my swimsuit. We were picking up the kayaks to put back on this big trailer. And everyone was having help, and I decided, no, not I. And so I picked up the kayak myself and was confidently walking to the thing, whatever. And one of the leaders told me that I had a wardrobe malfunction, and I looked down, and my entire fake boob was out of my bikini top, the whole thing. But because I couldn't feel. Because I had no feeling, I was just strutting David Hasselhoff style up, and I was like, oops.
It's amazing.
And yeah, I had no idea. If there's anything about my cancer treatment that makes me emotional, it's how amazing these organizations are. And how much it means to be able to be around people that get me. But I've always loved hiking, backpacking, camping, all that kind of stuff. And I've always found that so healing. So, I mean, these organizations are incredible. And I'm actually planning on getting it's called a woofer. It's like the wilderness outdoor first responder or something.
Oh.
And so I need to get that in order to be a trip guide. So I feel like I've now gone on enough trips that I want to be part of the experience for people that have not had that opportunity yet.
Yeah, that's really neat.
So I really want to do that.
Good for you. So we did talk a little bit about this idea of, people saying things that, they mean to help. I've heard this a lot from other patients, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, or, there's a lot of aphorisms, and for some people they do help. But I definitely get the feeling from some of the patients I talk with that, there's people who just can't help but put their foot in their mouth their foot in their mouth with their friends and family members who have cancer. So any refrains that you kept hearing that you were like, I would rather never hear this again?
Well, I believe it was Pitbull that said, for anybody going through hard times, I've been there, done that. Remember that. I was like, wow, Pitbull, we are so similar. You totally have lived in this step. There was one on that trip. One of the people that was working at the not through the cancer organization. They were with the kayak company.
Oh, okay.
I've always had really long curly hair, and losing it during chemo or losing part of it was traumatizing, horrible. And as women, we know that when you're in the shower and you're conditioning, you pull out a lot of hair when you're getting the tangles out. That's not even close to the type of hair. It was insane.
Yeah.
One of the older guys that was balding said something like, oh yeah, I know what you mean. Or oh, now you look like me or something. And I was like, thanks, Greg.
Oh dear.
I've always wished that I could look like a 55-year-old man.
Oh my God. I mean, a lot of people will make this big thing of kind of shaving it off, or, were you sort of like, I'll wait and see what happens and kind of take it as it comes? Or
yeah.
were you tempted to just like get rid of it all so you didn't have to deal with that in the shower every day?
So I decided to cold cap during chemo.
Do you want to explain a little bit about that for listeners who might not have heard of that?
Yep.
Okay.
So this is something that if you think about how chemo is injected into your bloodstream and it goes to warm areas first because you have better blood flow. So that's why, and the chemo kills any fast growing cells. There's probably going to be doctors listening to this that are like, actually. So sorry for any medical inaccuracy.
They agree to be a guest. They can refute any topic or statement.
But then I need to come back and I meant what I said. Blood flow to warm areas is really good. So blood flow to cold areas is not as good. So if we know that I have breast cancer and it's not a type of like people with blood cancer can't necessarily cold cap.
Right.
So I put on this, I don't even know how to, it's like a helmet sort of.
Yeah. And does it have like a lining that's like almost like a neoprene?
Yes. So it looks kind of like a brain and it injects liquid like into these valves that freeze your scalp completely. Like when you take it off, there's ice on your head. And so you put that on and it's super tight and it's very uncomfortable. And then you put on like a thing over it that helps keep it down. And depending on your hair type, you add on like an hour before your chemo and like an hour and a half after your chemo, you have to keep it on.
Oh, wow. I didn't
know that.
I
because
thought you just wore it during.
So maybe I would only get one drug for half an hour and then the other drug for an hour, but I would be there for a long time because you need to do it beforehand to slow it down. And then you need to do it afterhand. Why isn't that a word?
It should be. It is now.
It is now. Then you have to do it after to kind of keep it away from your head, which I feel very strongly to say that wanting to keep your hair through chemo is not about vanity. It's about desperately trying to hold on to one thing that makes you feel good about yourself.
Yeah.
And normal. So what ended up happening was I did the cold capping and I ended up losing most of the hair on my crown. As it was falling out, it was like creating dreadlocks basically in the curls because it was falling out at the top and then getting tangled. And so I ended up having to go to this woman. She ran an organization called Hair Matters in Maine. And I called her like sobbing at 11 o'clock at night. And I went into her salon the next day and she spent like 2 hours trying to fix the rat's nest that my hair had grown into. And then probably another 2 hours cutting my hair. So it ended up being like a very short bob. And then all of this on top was bald, which I called my medieval friar bald spot. Because that's literally what it looks like the monks with the brown cloaks.
I can picture it exactly, yes.
Yeah, because it was, all of this. She just took out her like chocolate stash and just put it on my lap. And I just,
bless her.
Yeah.
Hair Matters.
Hair Matters.
It's a wonderful resource. I haven't heard of her. I'll make sure we have her listed somewhere.
So that was my cold capping experience. It also helps the hair grow back because the cells just aren't as damaged. So even if it does fall out, it does help it grow back. And now I have a mullet going on for a long time because this all kept kind of growing on the back and on the bottom. And then this was just growing in. So I rocked a mullet for a while And this is going to be 3.5 years since my last chemo, and we're still working on getting the layers to match up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And does it look different? Is the shade different? Is the texture different?
Well, I have more gray hair.
Interesting. It still looks pretty curly.
It's very curly.
I know you can't see it. It's a really gorgeous head of hair, honestly.
Very pretty.
Lizz is an extremely attractive Cancer.
I've always had very curly hair, but then with it being shorter, it gets curlier. So it was hard to tell if it was curlier because it was shorter because of the chemo, but it is really thick, like especially on the top. Whereas sometimes in the back or in the bottom, it's definitely not as curly.
Oh,
and I wonder, like,
the underlayers.
What are you doing down here? Are you sad?
Right.
Like,
it's so interesting. And look, there's so many things that affect it too, like hormones.
Do you see the difference?
Yeah.
Yes, hormones, all of that.
Yeah.
And then chemically induced menopause.
Sure.
That doesn't help.
Sounds like fun.
It's black.
I don't care for the regular version. I don't know that I would like the chemically induced version any better.
Yeah, it's great in your 20s. I've always ran warm.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I've just always been, I'm 5'11". I have like an athletic type of build. I'm not small.
Mm-hmm.
And I've just always been warm forever. But now it's like even worse because of the hot flashes and stuff. But there's been several times that I'll say like, oh my God, it's hot in here.
Yeah.
And a woman will be like, just wait till you get to be my age. And I don't blame her. I mean, sometimes I totally ruin their day with, well, I actually have cancer.
Right.
But most of the time I let them live. But that's kind of one of the funny things about having like a non-visible disability or things like that is one of the things that I've learned from this is you have no idea what other people are going through.
Oh, for sure.
And it has pretty much taken away all of my annoyance at small things and all of my road rage.
Mm-hmm.
I actually went online and ordered a custom bumper sticker that said, "Please be nice, I have cancer."
Love it.
Because I was thinking about how much, I mean, that first year I went to like over 250 doctor's appointments. You think about if somebody cuts you off in traffic, or if somebody's going slow, or if they veer over to a lane back. Obviously, I solely condone safe driving practices.
Same.
But at the same time, all of my upsetness that has ever come from things like that has vanished because I know that I'm no better than anybody really else on the road. And especially when it bleeds into anything else too, like I'm so uninterested in gossiping.
Mm-hmm.
I do not care anymore. Like the little things, the small stuff, it's so low on my scale now that I think I'm a much happier person than I used to be.
So you feel like you're much more sort of big picture, kind of thinker and feeler than before.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Oh, for sure.
Is that, it sounds like something I was going to ask you, which I ask the guests is what surprised you about kind of who you became versus who you were before your diagnosis. It sounds like that is a big part of kind of your post-cancer self.
Yeah.
Is tell me about what you're in for now. How are you here very often? Are you followed pretty closely?
Yeah, so I come in once a month for my butt cheek shot, which is Lupron, which is what shuts down my ovaries. So I come in once a month for that. And then I'm almost, that's a 5-year plan. Yeah. And I'm, 3.5 going on 4 years into it, which is exciting. And then after that, I'll have like the Bud Light version of it, where it's just not as intense, probably for another 5 years. Okay. So I'll be 35 by the time I'm out of it. I have mammograms, MRIs, ultrasounds. I meet with Dr. Batelli and her nurse practitioner, Amanda Magnoli. Um, I have to shout out Edie.
We love Edie.
Edie, man, could probably tell you more about myself than I could. I am so thankful that New England Cancer had a therapist for me. Nothing I could say could shock her. She knew what the drugs I was talking about were. She would come visit me when I was in chemo. She is so valuable and I love her so much and she's the best.
That's fantastic. For our listeners who may not know, we have a whole stable of amazing social workers and oncology counselors here at New England Cancer. And they, can work on anything from mental health counseling to helping you quit smoking to, there's a whole gamut of things that they specialize in and with helping our patients with. And they are booked. I mean, you can't even get them for lunch. They are booked from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. every day that they're here. There's such a need for them, and they travel to all of our different locations too. So they're on the road. They're just amazing. And, anyone who's known social workers in any capacity knows, how huge their hearts are and just how wonderful and empathic they are. So shout out to Edie and that whole department. I'm interested in this, this idea of being strong. You've probably seen our little, wall downstairs where it talks about you never know how strong you are until you have to be, basically. Does that resonate with you at all?
Yeah, I think that in probably like a synonym of that could be resilience, which I identify a lot with. And man, like my dad would have a lot of good advice for me, and he went through surgery, chemo, and radiation, which I didn't have to do radiation. So he knows, he knew it all.
He's been there.
And he would tell me that the only difference between an ordeal and an adventure is your attitude.
Ooh.
And that kind of changed the way that I thought about things. And I realized that I can't control my diagnosis beyond being willing to do whatever, Dr. Patelli tells me to do.
Which I do too, by the way.
Which, always. Yeah, She's
very scary.
I don't know who Mr. Batelli is, but he should also be a listener.
Any Batellis, just follow Kiara's.
Yes.
Kiara's instructions.
Exactly. But I read this book that was called Easy Crafts for the Mentally Insane, which I identified with. And basically this woman went through a series of unfortunate events where she actually broke like both arms within like a week of each other or something. And she was feeling very depressed. And she had this line in there that was like, I cannot always control my feelings and I can't always control my thoughts, but I can make you one hell of a handmade gift. Like, what I can control is doing my little crafts, petting my little kitty cat, talking to my family. And I think that you don't know how strong you are until that's what you have to be. It's sort of like, well, this is the world now. Like, if I don't want to die, this is what we're going to have to do. So giddy up.
Yeah. You weren't given a choice about it, but you do have a choice about the way that you approach it.
Exactly.
Going forward. Yeah.
Exactly.
I love that. I love your dad's motto. I need a bumper sticker that says that. I really do.
Yeah.
Honestly, I've never met someone from Wisconsin that I did not really like a lot.
Oh,
I really never have. I used to live out in the Midwest.
Oh yeah.
In Chicago for a while.
Yep.
And they're great. They're salt of the earth, cheese loving people.
Totally.
And I really appreciate you agreeing to be a guinea pig on my podcast.
Of course.
Well, Liz, thank you so much. I hope that you will join us again for another future version of the podcast. And I hope you continue to just have good health and a good experience here at New England Cancer.
I appreciate that. It's so important for us to be able to talk about cancer. So many people, especially people my age, have no idea what to say. And I think that kind of normalizing talking about it can only help prepare
Absolutely.
us.
Absolutely. There could be a 25-year-old listening to this who thinks, oh, I have a similar pain to what she
Yeah.
described. Maybe I
Yeah.
just need to get that checked
Yeah,
out.
should go to the doctor
For sure.
Mhm.
For sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Thanks.
so
Here's
much.
to a happy, healthy 2026 for
Thank you.
Thanks
as
again.
well.
Thank you for listening to this episode of On the Subject of Cancer. If you heard a piece of yourself in this conversation, whether you're a survivor, a caregiver, or someone still finding their footing, we're glad you're here. Cancer can be isolating. Conversations like this one remind us that even when the experiences are different, the feelings often aren't. If you have a topic you'd like us to cover, please send us a note by going to our website at newenglandcancerspecialist.com and clicking on Contact.